The clock struck Heim time once again in Texas on Friday night. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt, not in the studio. Not going to be in the studio for a little bit, doing all of my reporting and covering of the sport from the far west. A lot of plane rides. No idea what time it is anymore. It's 5 o'clock in the morning right now. My body just like, hey, yeah, listen, we're going to be on East Coast time still. So, excited to do that. So you'll have a little bit of a different background here as I hang out for a little while and do some visiting. So let's get into what we want to talk about. First, congratulations to Kevin from KSR for winning the Indy 800 up at Lucas Oil Raceway Park with Cleese McFarland and everybody up there in that Crown Vic race. Second time he's won that race, so congrats to him. Now, into the actual news that we want to talk about today. We're going to start off with the Truck Series race on Friday night from Texas. And I'll be honest, guys, is Texas getting better than it used to be? Because I thought Friday night's Truck Series race was entertaining, wild, but not a complete, disaster that we've seen some races delve into. I will say this. I think I jinxed it because it had been 21 races since the Truck Series had an overtime finish. And guess what? On Friday night, we got an overtime finish. But 21 races is a really good stretch for the Truck Series. It's nearly a full season of races for them. But the clock struck Heim time once again on Friday night at Texas as Corey Heim goes to victory lane, picking up his third win of the year, pissing off Ben Rhodes in the process. But overall, pretty entertaining race for the most part. Just a couple of highlights here. We had a massive incident. We had two really big wrecks in this race. Three really big wrecks probably for the most part. Early in stage one, or halfway through stage one, Gio Ruggiero went all Dale Earnhardt Jr., clipped the grass through that tri-oval dogleg section on the front stretch there. Shot him back across the racetrack. He just absolutely clobbers Caden Honeycutt in that Nice Motorsports truck. Brandon Jones, nowhere to go, rips the right front off of his number one Tricon truck. Just a big crash, just bang, bang. Super hard hits for all of them. Thankfully, they were all okay. Fox could not get to commercial quick enough out of that, which brings me to a point real quick. Jamie Little, I think, heard all the criticism that she's kind of lackluster in the booth, doesn't really bring excitement, and she proceeded to call most of the race on Friday, yelling into the microphone, "Look at Stuart Friesen going 3 wide." All right. I appreciate the, wanting to respond to the constructive feedback. Yelling into the microphone like you're Gus Johnson, not the way to do it. So we can figure that out. She also thought that Carson Hocevar was in the 07 for the longest time, and then the 7. Then she didn't realize that it was, she thought that was the last lap of stage number 1. It was 2 to go. And it just, some other things to probably clean up there. But not great overall there. We also had Lane Riggs in that 34 truck for Front Row Motorsports, sponsorship from Aaron's. And now, if you're familiar with Aaron's sponsorship at Texas, typically the cars that Aaron is on, they like to leave the racetrack or the ground. They don't ever, they want to defy gravity in this situation. Oh, we want to be a rocket ship. You don't. You're a race car. You should want to be a race car. And on Friday night, we had Lane Riggs spin out in turn 2. Racing, I believe it was Ty Majeski at that point, just underneath him, spins out. Didn't leave the ground, fared way better than another Aaron's car in turns 1 and 2 at Texas. Thankfully, didn't end up on his roof. But then, later in the race, gets loose coming off of turn 4, spins sideways, goes into the grass, and as he's going across where they have that quarter mile in the infield right there, the splitter just catches the dirt and just, boom, pops him up in the air. Thankfully, didn't flip over. We've seen an Xfinity Aaron's car flip over, or at least get up in the air. We've seen a Cup car with Aaron's sponsorship flip over at Texas. The truck, thankfully, stayed on the ground. So we had that one there. But I thought the racing overall was pretty good by Texas standards. What actually makes me so mad is they did the reconfiguration. They gave us so much area to race with down in turn 1. You could build a suburban sprawling neighborhood out there, and everybody just races down on the bottom 2 lanes. But then you go down to turns 3 and 4, the original banking of the racetrack, and it's still a wildly good corner down there. And it's like, just put turns 1 and 2 back to that. SMI and their brilliant ideas to try to, renovate racetracks and reconfigure them, did the same thing with Kentucky, just absolutely failed. So hopefully they go back, because down in 3 and 4, again, really entertaining. But I think that the racetrack is slowly coming around. Yeah, you don't want to get up out of the groove, but you can still run side by side through there. Trucks get loose. It was pretty entertaining by Texas standards. Then we get down towards the end of the race there. Corey Heim, Raja Caruth, Ben Rhodes, all racing 3 wide. Ben Rhodes is upset that Corey Heim kind of pushed him up out of the groove. He said Corey was just racing us high, trying to shove us up. I completely understand Ben Rhodes being upset about that. Also, at a racetrack like Texas, that's just kind of what you have to do at this point. So Heim goes on to win the race, survives the late race restart. That 11 truck didn't fire off really well on restarts. There was a controversial moment when the caution came out. Leaders were 3 wide down the backstretch. Raja Karuth, if you go by the video, when the caution came out, Raj is leading. If you go by the scoring loop, which is what they do when there's another restart coming up, then that put Heim back into the lead there. So Raja probably, upset about it, but he's had a really strong run here of late in the truck series. So that second win feels like it's coming. That team feels like it's turned the corner finally. Heim goes on to win the race. Like I said, 3 wins this year. Listen, he's the favorite. He's just got to get it together at Phoenix if he does make it to the championship 4, which I think we all assume he will, but we'll have to wait and see. Overall, I like the truck race. Let me know what you thought about it as well. So NASCAR did a little bit of show and tell on Saturday at Texas, and I appreciate when NASCAR is doing the showing and the telling because they're showing us why cars got disqualified, and they're telling us completely why they did. So they did it for Joey Logano and for Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is, I think we all understand that the shim issue, they put 3, they're only allowed to have 2, pretty self-explanatory. Just a mistake there. The Joey Logano one, this one's interesting because we thought it is a loose bolt. Initially, we thought it was a missing bolt out of the spoiler. Turns out it's a missing nut on the other side of the spoiler. Obviously, screw into nut. You get it. You understand how things work. That's what happened there. Weirdly enough, Live Fast Motorsports believes that they caught the washer to it in their car there. Not sure if it is or not, but funny regardless. So what happened here? Nut's not there, bolt's loose. And as you can see, the space in the bracket right there, that's going to allow the spoiler to flex, especially at a place like Talladega. Is it going to give you that much of an advantage? Probably not that much of an advantage. Clearly he didn't win, but it's also going to give you an advantage. You have to get disqualified for that because, well, the rules are still broken. Whether it fell off, accidentally or on purpose, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the team just didn't torque it down all the way. Maybe they're like, oh, hey, if it falls off, right? Maybe we'll get lucky with this one. Either way, I think it's good that NASCAR is showing these things off. It's not the most egregious looking thing in the world. I can completely understand that. It's kind of like the Jesse Love thing back at Rockingham when NASCAR showed it off and they put the gauge in there to show you just how much space there was because the team didn't torque down that truck trailing arm into that U-bolt saddle there, and everybody's like, oh, it's not that much. Yeah, but like if you don't torque it down all the way, now look how much play there is in it. Same thing here. It doesn't look like that much, but still when it's being flexed under the pressure of the air moving across it, it is going to be substantial. Think flexi wings in Formula One. This is a flexi spoiler, for lack of a better term, and it's going to give you a slight advantage. So NASCAR went ahead and not hammer them, but disqualified them from the race. That was the only penalty that they got, which I'm fine with that. I don't think there needed to be a points penalty or a monetary penalty throughout the week, but disqualification went from 5th back to 39th. Is what it is. But I do like that NASCAR is now, so in the past they have done the show and tell thing. You could go down to the hauler, you could see what cars, what's pulled off of cars and deemed illegal and everything like that. But now they're like inviting the media in, and they've done this a few times in the past, but it feels like they're making a more concerted effort this year for the transparency to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. They explain what exactly, either failed or they think the team did or anything like that. And then they show off, what the advantage would have been. And I think that's super helpful just for the education of the sport and for the transparency of it as well, right? Because, Joey Logano certainly has a lot of haters out there and people aren't going to question him getting disqualified, but it's still nice to be like, okay, so this was a legitimate disqualification. It's not really being nitpicky. Like there was in fact a reason for it. So overall, I thought it's a good thing and hope they continue to do it going forward. Last topic of the day, what is the future of Texas Motor Speedway? Now, there's been a lot of talk about it since their absolutely abhorrent reconfiguration. Oh, we got to reconfigure. We got to repave because of the weepers. Guess what? Weepers are back. We're not that far into this repave. So at this point, maybe we just scrap Texas altogether, rebuild it, try something different. At the same time, the racing actually wasn't bad on Friday night in the Truck Series. We'll see what it is on Saturday in the Xfinity Series and Sunday in the Cup Series. It's taken a long time for the track to finally come back around because this happened back in, 2017, I believe is when we had this reconfiguration done. If it was up to me, I would go ahead and scrap turns 1 and 2 and build it back up to what it was. Get rid of all the extra space that they gave them because nobody's racing up there. Oh, remember when Eddie Gossage was like, we can go into turn 1 8 wide. who's going into turn 1 8 wide? Not NASCAR, not IndyCar. And everybody just uses the bottom lanes. And then there's just an exponential amount of real estate to the right side where nobody's running at it. It just looks dumb at this point. So put it back to the same way that turns 3 and 4 are. And I think the track could actually be back to its old self and pretty good again. Don't repave the rest of the racetrack, just that area where you're going to rebuild the corner at. If you're not going to do that, there's been a lot of talk from people that are like, hey, give it the Atlanta treatment, right? Give it the 1.5 mile super speedway treatment. No, we don't need another super speedway. We've got 6 of them on the calendar. Everybody's like, oh my God, we have way too many road courses. There's so many road courses on the calendar these days. We have 6 road courses on the calendar. That equates to a 6 of the calendar, 36 races. 6 of them. You guys can do the math here for that. 6 times 6 is 36. We all did our multiplication tables in elementary school, most of us. But you can go and have 6 super speedway races and everybody's like, oh, this is great. We love super speedway racing. No, it's too many. 6 is enough. 6 is fine. We don't need a 7th one out at Texas. If you're going to do anything to Texas, just put it back to the way it was and hope it's there. Or do what Texas loves to do. Everything's bigger in Texas. It's not, but you can say it is. Build a big ass racetrack then. Build a 2.7 mile racetrack. Build a big super speedway if you really want to do it. If not, then just leave it the way it is, because right now the Gen 7 car races really well at super speedways. Who knows what the Gen 8 car will race well at, but for now, at least you have a racetrack there where typically cars race better. Maybe just fix turns 1 and 2. Jeff Gluck did ask the track president about a potential Atlanta-style reconfiguration, and he said that those are all just rumors on the internet right now, but he also didn't say no. So that has me slightly concerned here, because it's plausible deniability, right? Nah, I didn't say yes, I didn't say no, and then when they announce it, he'll be like, see, I never said yes or no. I'm just saying it's a rumor out there. But hopefully that doesn't happen, because I don't think any of us want to see another super speedway race on the calendar. I would rather have a weird, stupid Texas as it currently stands than another super speedway where it's kind of crapshoot and we're probably going to tear up a lot of equipment. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about Corey Heim winning, NASCAR showing off Joey Logano's disqualification, and the future of Texas Motor Speedway. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok @BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook @BreakHardBlog.